things are looking a little different up here now. A small change like that has such a massive impact.
So now we're moving on and we are thinking about the very fast approaching winter and what we can do to make our living arrangements a lot more comfortable during that time. One of those things is going to be making our kitchen bigger and relocating it. At the moment we have your typical sized caravan kitchen, and what we would like to do is bring it outside. So we went to the DIY store and we bought one of these shelving units. They're everywhere, they're super cheap as well. Usually you would see these two on top of each other, and often they're put like in garages and things, but what we decided to do was just not connect them, put them side by side, and we're going to turn this into some kitchen shelving. So the next step, now we've assembled these beauties, given them a trial run, is we're going to put some worktop on here.
We've still got all the black feet on?
No, missing one here.
What's the betting is drop down the hole. Yep. Okay.
I've just done it wrong, Granny.
Ha, put it down if you like. God. Right, I'm not even close to covering this end yet, so I need to come this way a few inches. It's a little bit too short, isn't it? What happens here is we bought a length of worktop. A length of worktop out here is 4.1 meters long, and we had them cut off the exact size we need for the kitchen inside the caravan to replace that worktop there. So we had them do that, and then we just kept the offcut. Wherever it was, we just took it and we'll make it work. We've marked out for where this post sits so that we can notch the worktop around this post. So I'm going to pick it up, lift it out the way. Kayleigh's going to put some cushions on to protect the top, and we're going to flip it over to make the cut, because the jigsaw cuts upwards, and if we do that it's going to blow all this plastic surface out rather than cut it nice and neatly. Yeah. That's it. This bit is to go. I didn't go quite right on this bit. I'm sure that was my fault. It's for an outdoor kitchen. I mean, you know, it's not a slab of marble, is it? Temporary thing, and then that will be plenty well enough supported.
I need this sand. I want it clear of this. Okay. So I can...
Pencil mark is the centre of the shelf unit, and this pencil mark is the centre of the worktop. So as long as I get those worked out roughly in line, we're going to be supporting the worktop as best we can here. And then once that's lined up, I'm going to screw this shelf unit into the seat box to make sure that it all stiffens up, because at the minute it's all a bit wobbly and floating around. We'll fit this end leg, and we're going to screw that end leg down into the floor as well, so that should also tie it all in. That block off of there, because we've got a decent 90 degree to the centre of the chipboard here. Not that you probably care that much, but
It's a bit boring, isn't it?
as part of our winter preparations, we have bought a load of OSB sheets, 15mm OSB, and the plan is we're going to board up this gap between the caravan and the ridge beam. At the minute we can sit here of an evening and the curtains have made a huge difference, but we get this crazy cold air come down the hill and it just rushes in here and it makes it freezing cold out here. So the plan is we're going to board all this up right over the top, and then we might even use expanding foam in this gap between the boards and the caravan just to seal it right off, and then hopefully this will become a much more pleasant living space when it's -4. Kayleigh. Okay. Okay, you should be able to relax. Well, that one is up. Oh, I was hoping for a hand, but okay, I would do it by myself. It's okay, I'll do it. Thought we were a team. Happy? Right.
That's better.
Yeah. Should be wedged in there now. Just go vertical for the minute. Now walk vertical. Why vertical? Now go that way, that side of the sawhorse. Or flip sides of the board. What are you doing?
My poop was in the way.
It
all got very complicated. I panicked.
God's sake. It's like, what are you doing? As part of our winter plans up here, we have decided to take all the benches out, clear this place completely, and we're going to put in a really cheap, basic carpet. Tent. We're going to put in a really cheap, basic carpet, which is what Alex and Ember are sat on at the moment. It's literally super, super thin, but what it will mainly do is it will stop the draft coming up through the floorboards here and give us a bit of a warmer place underfoot.
I'm in two minds about this because I think it's going to be so comfortable and cosy. I'm really going to miss these floorboards.
Yeah, this has weathered.
Well.
Like, there's some areas under the seats and under the kitchen there where it hasn't got worn at all, and it looks very different here, which has been really heavily worn. But actually, I think they've weathered really nicely with all the wear and tear that they're getting. So, yeah, it will be sad to see these go, but this is not a permanent fixture. We'll see how the carpet fares, because there is a chance that we will lift it for summer. But, I don't know, there's a lot of hassle involved in that, so we'll see how we go.
We just need to make sure we're ready for a nice, cosy Christmas.
Yeah, that's the main thing. We've got Christmas coming quicker than we would like. And we're trying to, try and make it as comfortable as possible up here for Christmas, and the couple of months after Christmas is proper winter. Okay, well, things are looking a little different up here now. And the truth is we had a bitterly cold November. Suddenly the temperature just dropped off a cliff and we had like -5 almost every day. And overnight we even got down to -8. So it was absolutely freezing. And that meant that we just had to crack on in here. We had to get this as much as warm as possible and as much more lounge-like as we could, as quick as we could. So the truth is, I didn't film much of this. Laid this carpet. This is a very cheap, very thin carpet. It only comes in one colour. It's not our choice, but actually it seems to work quite well. This is mainly to stop the air coming up or down through the gaps in the decking, and it's made a massive difference underfoot. I've even got my slippers on it. So this really has turned this into a lounge for us. It's wonderful to sit out here, watch some TV, the kids play out here on the floor, and it's lovely and comfortable. As you saw, we installed that OSB, and I have gone round and sealed it off against the Caravan with expanding foam. That has pretty much stopped all of the drafts in here. The only drafts we get now are from the very corners where the curtains meet the posts, and it is minor, which is fantastic. As you can probably see here, we have fitted a wood burner up here. Like I say, we were really pushed for time. It was getting freezing cold, and so we just got this in as quick as we could. It literally goes straight up through the roof. I've cut a hole in the tin. We've got twin-walled flue up there. It's sealed round with flashing tape, and this has been a game changer for us. Last night it was 5 degrees outside and it was 24 degrees up here inside, and that is proper comfortable lounge temperature, and it is honestly the best thing we've done. We are so happy up here now. We use this space all the time. The kitchen worktop, the plan is to take the kitchen out of the Caravan as we said previously. However, we have got ourselves a little induction hob and an air fryer, and we cook on top of the wood burner as well, meaning that we're not that desperate for the oven to come out here. A couple of other changes we've made up here are, one, this. So this is our muddy boot gate, and the idea is that we have, when it's raining and it's horrible outside, this gate is closed, and that means that the dog comes running up here and he doesn't come running onto the carpet. He has to stop here. So this is like our muddy boot area, and it's the same with Ember, of course. As soon as she runs up here, she's straight in the carpet and there's mud everywhere. It's just a boot room basically, and it is working really, really well. I thought this gate would be really clunky and in the way, but actually it folds right back here, so when the weather's acceptable outside, it's pretty much out the way and we keep it all open. But when it's bad, we can have this closed, and we can even hop over the top if we have to. And then the other thing we've done here is coat storage. So when we come in with wet coats, we've got somewhere to hang them, and shoe storage. And again, a game changer. We'd always been up here like piling shoes up, trying to sort through shoes and everything. We've all got our own shelf, and there's space for everybody's shoes here. There's space for wellies and work boots, gloves, everything. So, I mean, it couldn't be better, really. I'm very, very happy with how this all turned out, and it has made the world of difference for the family, to be honest with you. So it means now that winter being bitterly cold and horrible for the next couple of months, we're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. We've got wood from the garden, but also from leftover from the barn when we took the roof off the barn. So we've logged all that up. So we've got firewood in stock already. And it's just, well, I'm just really happy. What do you guys think? Well, it's a nice winter's day, so I've donned my wellies, my coat, and of course the bubble hat. And I'm going to take you for a walk because I wanted to show you guys something that I found the other day. And I wanted to show you the impact that a change can have. And what I found suddenly makes sense as to why things had changed on our land, if that makes sense. All will be revealed, but come for a wander with me. Okay, so the bit I wanted to talk about was this, what we call our woodland, which is this strip right up the side here. And this is the boundary of our property. There's a stream that runs down through here where all these trees are. Now granted, this is not that much of a woodland, but it's ours, and I'm still very pleased to call it ours. It is made up of ash, majority of small-leaved elm, some big poplars, which obviously you see in the drone shots, and a couple of small oaks as well. This summer has been an incredibly hot one, and I think one of the driest on record. And because of that, the trees have been under a lot of stress. And this season, the end of the summer, I started to notice that a lot of the trees were losing their leaves very early. And I was thinking that was because of drought and because of the summer, which it was, but there's also another reason. The path that I've just been walking is basically a mini stream coming from the lake up the top. Now I call this a lake, but really it's just a pretty large pond. And as you can see, the level is incredibly low. Looking back on some previous footage that I had when we first came here, this time of year, it was almost full to the top. And when it's full to the top, there is an overflow. And that overflow runs down this way, through this gully here, and then down the boundary of our land and in the stream that I was just walking in. Up above this pond is a commercial well, and this commercial well feeds all the water to our village. If you look closely, just up there on the horizon, you might just see the concrete roof of that well, and that plays a very important role in this, the pond or lake, whatever you want to call it. Now I haven't walked out this way for quite a long time actually, but when I did the other day I noticed something fundamentally different, and that's that this ground here is surprisingly solid, and this was always a bog. Very, very wet underfoot, but it isn't anymore. So I decided to walk a little further and do a bit of investigating. And that led me to this. Down here. The spring that feeds our whole village overflows, and it overflows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But somebody has come up here and tapped into the overflow and piped it off down the hill in this direction, whereas naturally it was flowing down this way and towards the pond. There is a filter head on here which then goes into a pipe, and that pipe runs along this trench but then gets dug into the ground, and I lose sight. I have no idea where it goes. Now I'm not complaining, I get it. In this part of the world, water is a very scarce resource and it's very, very valuable. And when it's flowing down the hillside like that, why wouldn't you tap into it and use it? It makes sense. But it just goes to show the impact that a small change like that can have to everything else that was going on down that hill. Now their need for water may well be greater than mine, of course. Mine is only to water the trees and to keep that pond full. And the pond's not even mine, it's not even on our land. But it's part of the biodiversity in that area, and it is the overflow there that keeps our trees moist and watered. It now makes a lot of sense as to why our trees were struggling, and certainly the big poplars, it looks like we've lost them all. They've all died off. So where do we go from here? It's a really tough thing. You know, what do you do? The water's coming out the ground, it's free. Somebody's tapped into that and gone to the effort of laying pipe, and I don't know where that goes to. There's no obvious place. So unless it's being pumped or it's going somewhere else, I don't know. But I don't think it's right for me to start blocking that off and rediverting it down into the lake. But it does just go to show how a small change like that has such a massive impact on the land around it. There is a good chance that we could lose our trees because of this change. And it is so hot and so dry here that I don't really know what our options are. You might ask, who owns the land? And the truth is, I don't know. The water company owned the well and the land around it, which is why it's fenced off with those yellow signs. The land down here, who knows? I did used to understand that this was municipality land, and so it was just owned by the state. But there is some land registries that show that there's different plots that are cut up all over the place, and it's not on clearly defined boundaries. Maybe let me know in the comments what you would do or what you think I should do. We are planning to capture as much rainwater as humanly possible, and in the future dig our own borehole, which should mean water will be plentiful. And with that, we should be able to irrigate. I plan to dig drainage swales across our land to try and capture as much as the rainfall that actually lands on our land and retains it into the ground. But these projects all take time and they take money. And of course, we're always short on both. These are part of the plans moving forward for a longer term future. Like I say, I'm not complaining, but it's just some food for thought. Well, that's it. I'm sorry it was a short one this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, as always, we'll see you on the next one. Damn, it is windy.